All right, good morning. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we're going to be in the 157-pound division and 140-pound division, where there's some real vicious talk going on out in the boxing world about Jermell Charlo and Errol Spence Jr. and wishes on the part of Jermell Charlo related to Terence Crawford and to Errol Spence Jr. and his rematch with Terence Crawford. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to be in the 147 to 154 pound division, where there, I believe, is a big misunderstanding going on around some things that were said by Jermell Charlo that are being interpreted as believing that Errol Spence Jr. is just a bump in the road for Terence Crawford in the rematch that he has with in the rematch that he has with Errol Spence Jr. I know where this information comes from, and I'm telling you that I think that it is 100% a misinterpretation of what the man said, or something where Jermell Charlo said something but cleared it up later on. But before I get into the details of it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for continuing to chop it up with me about this boxing, and which is, to me, is always a pleasure to do with you guys. Please leave a comment in the comment section if you like the video and if you understand where I'm coming from. Positive comments really do go a very long way. It seems as if most people will understand with what I'm saying. But I've got some, systematic trolls out there that continually leave messages, which kind of skew the perception of the video. So if you understand what I'm saying, put a comment in the comment section. It would be greatly appreciated. So let's get into this. You have three people involved in this discussion. One is Terence Crawford, the other is Errol Spence, and the other is Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo is coming off a loss to Canelo Alvarez, a very well expected loss to Canelo Alvarez, by the way. I don't know why anybody would have picked Jermell Charlo to win the fight, but Jermell Charlo is getting a lot of heat after the fight for not getting knocked out. That's the best way that I can see it. He fought a fight. It seemed like he was outgunned, outmanned. He fought, and he wound up not getting hurt in the ring. So a whole lot of people are upset with him because he didn't go out on his shield. And if that's what you're looking for, hey, I'd be mad at him because he didn't do that. But afterwards, Jermell Charlo says something in the ring like, yeah, I want to fight Terence Crawford. And he said after Terence Crawford gets Errol Spence out of the way, come on, let's do that. So what would that make you believe? First time I heard it, I was like, wow, that's kind of throwing Errol Spence Jr. under the bus, right? By treating the fight the way that he said that as if it is a foregone conclusion that Terence Crawford is going to beat Errol Spence, right? Which it's not. Those are two people, I always say, and I think this is correct. You don't really know what is going to happen in a fight until they get in the ring. And since this fight is more than likely going to be at 154 pounds, and Errol Spence said that, or he didn't say, but people around him said that there were a lot of extenuating circumstances in the camp before that. And actually, some of these things were said to people before the fight took place. You never know. So does that mean that Jermell was throwing him under the bus? He said that in the ring. But if you listen to Jermell in the press conference, he says, yeah, I want to fight Terence Crawford. After my guy, who said he wants to get his lick back. Errol Spence, right, wants to get his lick back. So he's not throwing Errol Spence. He's spoken a more positive way about Errol Spence in that particular circumstance, right? Now, Is it possible that he would favor Terence Crawford to win the fight? It's possible that he would favor Terence Crawford to win the first fight. However, when it's time to say who he's going to pick, I guarantee he's going to pick Errol Spence, because that's the way that's the way a lot of boxers do. They ride with their team. So I find it very unlikely that he would purposely go out there and say that. So I don't think that his mindset is where, okay, yeah, let me get back in training camp so that I can start fighting and preparing for Terence Crawford. First of all, the fact that he's back training doesn't really mean anything related to a Terence Crawford fight, because we don't even know when the date is going to be for the Errol Spence Jr. rematch. Since we don't know what the rematch date is, how do you know that he's in? Does anybody know that he's at, just because he goes to the gym, that means he's training for Terence Crawford, and he's training for Terence Crawford because he thinks Errol's going to lose? That is just an absolute stretch, like super duper stretch. Just because you see some pictures of him, or people saying he's back in the gym. And based off his words, I don't buy that. I don't buy that was his intention. Now, like I say again, anybody that thinks that Terence Crawford can win the rematch or will win the rematch, I don't have any reason to say, no, that's not logical. No, that's logical. That's a reasonable thing. It was a very one-sided fight the first time. But if it isn't one-sided or it goes the other way the second time, don't be surprised, because it has happened in boxing a lot of times. Like, take, for example, between the second and the third Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier fight. The first was a close fight. The second, my understanding was a blowout for Muhammad Ali in the second one. And then in the third fight, Muhammad Ali treated Joe Frazier like he was a joke. And Joe Frazier gave Muhammad Ali a very vicious beating in the Thriller in Manila. So you just don't know. There's a lot of other cases of that as well, where fights change, the outcome of fights change. Because again, you don't know what somebody's going to do until they actually get in the ring. And that day, right? You could have somebody has a flu. You could have somebody that tore their Achilles like the day before the fight and couldn't pull out of the fight because it would have cost them a lot of money. And now they're sitting duck. You just never know. You also don't know when you move weight classes exactly how drawn and depleted a particular boxer was, right? You just don't know. And there's a lot of other factors that go into play, right? You have fights like Miguel Cotto getting slaughtered by Margarito in their rematch, and wanted to be a whole lot different. Right now, obviously, there's a difference between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, because I'm sure Terence Crawford isn't going to get caught with anything illegal between the two that changes it. But that's just to give you another example of that happening before. So, but regardless, I don't take that from Jermell like that at all. I had done a video before about it where I addressed it, but now it's out again and people are pushing it some more. So just thought I'd be very clear with that. No, I don't think that. There's no reason to believe that Jermell Charlo is training for Terence Crawford. That doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.